So, episode 8, it wasn't bad, but it was severely underwhelming. I'm not gonna lie. From the beginning to the end, it was a pretty underwhelming episode. Like, literally, when it started off from where we left off at in episode 7, with everything being kind of like tense and stuff like that, it kind of just, played it off as, like how can I say this? Like, it just pretty much was like just her mom seeing who was there, all there. That was it. And Nazuna, hurrying up and hide somewhere. That's it. I'm thinking someone was like gonna actually walk into the room while they were in there. No. no at all. Oh man. So I'm like, dang, bro, that was kinda something. They tensed all that up just to like be like, nothing really was really gonna happen. No serious situation here. It was kind of just a high tense moment. That was it. So I was like, oh, okay. Fast forward to the episode. They're still doing their detective work, trying to find her, catch her dad in the act of cheating, which he was. It was revealed that he was cheating, but he came out himself and said it later on in the episode. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Then, they start making these steps towards, making things better. Him especially, he said he wants to do better. And so they were doing it, and Anko was finding herself finally being happy. And then out of the blue, on her 18th birthday, I don't know how much time it was between that and, him, admitting that he was cheating and stuff like that and wanted to do better. But then he started having his transformation into a vampire. He attacks Anko, and then, the mother, Warringing, comes in, trying to figure out what's wrong with him, and then he pretty much just sucks her dry. Literally, she was a lifeless, dry, swiveled up corpse, like a raisin. He sucked her dry, completely dry. And honestly, it was underwhelming because I'm like, bro, I know this isn't, it's the fact that, with this being an anime, it gives people a lot of room to be a lot more creative. And I'm thinking to myself, bro, like, we could have seen some, limbs being ripped off. It's not like they haven't ripped off limbs in the series anyway. I mean, remember when Nazuna fought old blonde girl in the first season, she ripped her limbs off. So I'm like, bro, you could have got crazy with this. You could have really made this more horrific, thriller-like, gore-like. I mean, why not? Really get into it. Really show the horrors of witnessing your father turn to a vampire and eating your mother right in front of you and then going after you. But instead, he just sucks her completely dry, and then that was it. Her lifeless body just dropped on the ground. And I'm like, that was pretty underwhelming. Now, of course, like, obviously that would still be pretty trauma afflicting, but still, I'm like, as the viewer of the series, of the show, I would like to see a limb get ripped off or something. Like, let's see, like, again, he's a vampire, a newly awakened vampire. Let's see how crazy this really could get. But yeah, it was pretty underwhelming with that. And then after that, he pretty much goes after her, Anko. She managed to fight him off, and I guess she killed him with that silver, I want to say silver lighter. It seemed like, that was what doing the killing on him. And then a little bit after, it's morning time, Nazuna shows up at her door, walks in, sees the horrific scene, which wasn't really all that horrific at all. It was just a completely drained out body, and her father leaning up against the wall dead. And she was asking what happened, was it a vampire? And they had their little back and forth exchange, and Anko pretty much walked out of the building, putting on her father's glasses, making a comment about how bad his eyes really were, and that was it. After that, then we get to a scene where they're finally in prison time, both on the same screen at the same time, with her calling out to Nazuna. While Nazuna is there with our boy Kuko or whatever. So that's pretty much all that was happened. It wasn't a bad episode, but it was pretty underwhelming. especially when it came to her father turning into a vampire. I felt like they could have done a lot more to really express how really scary and traumatic this part of her life really was, because just him simply just sucking her mother dry. I know that sounded but just, you know what I'm saying, just sucking the complete life out of her mother, and then her body just dropped to the ground. Wasn't really all that. I was kind of like, we could have seen at least her arm get ripped off or something to show the struggle that she was having trying to get away and survive. But nah, no, that's just me. But anyway, can't wait for episode 9. But y'all let me know what y'all thought of it, though. Y'all let me know what y'all thought of it, though.